Welcome back, Irish fans, to Breaking Down Braves Boys podcast. Notre Dame drops to 10-6 and 4-2 in ACC play at Virginia Tech. We've seen this movie before. Notre Dame blew it down the stretch and just couldn't find a way to finish, couldn't find a stop when they needed it. And for the most part this year, they've generally been pretty good at getting stops when they needed them. Anthony Solomon seems to be happy with that before tonight, but tonight just couldn't hit enough free throws to win this thing. And tough loss for Notre Dame. Not necessarily a horrible loss to me. It's a quad one loss. Notre Dame falls to 1-5 in quad one. They'll probably drop a few spots in the net, but I said at the time Texas A&M was a bad loss. I said at the time St. Mary's was a bad loss. To be honest, this one sucks. This one is a game they probably shouldn't have lost, just based on the lead they had, the offense flowing, and we're going to get into why they lost it. But generally, I don't think this is a horrible game. Virginia Tech looks pretty good in the metrics. 9-7. This would have been a quad one win for them. It's a quad one loss for them now. Virginia Tech will probably move up a few spots in the metrics now. And Notre Dame could replace a quad one, this quad one with North Carolina if they pull this game off at Georgia Tech. Just tough one for Notre Dame. Definitely discouraging. I just don't want it to get lost. I don't think this is a huge loss in terms of metrics or anything, but obviously it's frustrating. We've seen this movie before. And Notre Dame seems to be better equipped for these games this year, but they still couldn't do it. Paul Atkinson got into foul trouble late, and he was really the guy they were turning to late in possessions. Cormac Ryan missed two big free throws, and then Notre Dame couldn't get a stop when they needed to on that last possession where Storm Murphy hit that big shot. Notre Dame's defense tonight I don't think was good enough, even with Atkinson in the game and without Atkinson in the game. Thought they should have gone to the zone earlier, didn't, and came back to bite them because Atkinson fouled out, and then they were just getting pretty much torched every time they threw it down to Atkinson's guy while he was being conservative. And Notre Dame could have won this game. The offense looked awesome pretty much for the first 30 minutes of this game. They hit some big shots down the stretch to kind of keep them ahead, but you could kind of tell that the offense was sputtering enough that it was going to be really hard for them to win this game. And barring a Blake Wesley takeover or a few big Nate Laszewski or Dane Goodwin or Prentiss shots, this one was going to be tough for them to handle, especially without Paul Atkinson in there. I do think the offense was a bright spot for the first 30 minutes. They've started really slow on the road over the last few months, and I think Illinois was the only other road game that they had a good start in. I think we need to take that positive from it. Obviously, the end wasn't how it should have been, but Notre Dame's finally getting going on the road offensively was big. It didn't even get going in their last two road wins against Pitt and Tech, but obviously the collapse is the story here, as it should be. I think we need to give credit for how the offense was. Everybody was chipping in early, but as adjustments were made, Notre Dame couldn't really get anything going late. Had to force up a few shots that somehow went in, like the Prentiss Hubb shot at the end of the shot clock. Dane Goodwin hit that big three to bail him out, and not much else was doing for Notre Dame tonight after 10 minutes in the fourth quarter. Like I said, we've seen this movie before, a little mismanagement. I'm not going to go on a soapbox about the seven-man rotation, but seeing Paul Atkinson foul out and Nate have three, you kind of got to wonder, hey, if Matt Zona was in there chipping in a few minutes, do things change a little bit? And I couldn't give you a definitive answer. Nobody could, but certainly couldn't have hurt Paul Atkinson and Nate Liszewski's foul totals. Atkinson, though, I thought was really good tonight before the fouls. After the fourth foul, didn't really contribute anything, but he's been really good quietly over the last few weeks. Has made some really good decisions out of the post passing. Had 19 points tonight. I don't think anybody would have guessed that he had 19 based on watching. Just a quiet 19, 8 for 12. Shot 3 for 4 from the line, 9 rebounds. This was probably Atkinson's best game at Notre Dame if he didn't have those fouls. And I think he was pretty good tonight. It's good to see against a guy like Justin Mutz and Keve Alume, who are legitimate ACC big men. Atkinson had a good game against them. Can't use the they're undersized thing anymore. Atkinson kind of proved his worth tonight against good ACC bigs. Just got to stay out of foul trouble, and that's something he struggled with throughout his time at Yale and now at Notre Dame. I think that's the bigger story with Atkinson tonight is how good he was offensively and how he was the safety blanket, got a bucket when they needed him to at pretty much every time. But also you have to acknowledge how he his foul trouble, and that's been an issue his whole career that could get Notre Dame in trouble a few times down the stretch here, and it did tonight for sure. Nate Laszewski, I thought his impact went bigger than the box score offensively. Defensively, though, I didn't think he was all that great. Had 3 fouls. Was kind of getting eaten alive by Keve Aluma and Justin Mutz when he was on it. Wasn't moving his feet all that well to get in front of him. Did take 2 charges, but other than that, didn't contribute much defensively. Only had 2 rebounds. But offensively, I think he had a bigger impact than the 6 points show just because guys were switching for Virginia Tech to not let him get open looks, and that was opening up switches to get like Justin Mutz on Blake Wesley or Justin Mutz on Dane Goodwin, Justin Mutz on Prentiss Hubb, or Keve Aluma on somebody who could score on him. Trey Wertz, I think, got a bucket on him. But I thought Liszewski really opened up the offense tonight, even though he wasn't scoring all that much. But defensively and on the boards, you got to get a lot better from Nate Liszewski. And I think he'd tell you that tonight. He's really fought the last few weeks defensively. Tonight, I'm sure he was trying, just didn't have it defensively tonight. Blake Wesley, I thought this was one of his worst games at Notre Dame, and that's saying something because he had 15 – or that's not saying much because he had 15 points. I don't know. I kind of botched that, but it says something about Blake Wesley that a 15-point outing on the road as a freshman where he made a big play late to draw that foul is his worst game at Notre Dame. I think he could have got to the rim a few more times, didn't take that great of shots. He really took advantage of Justin Mutz when they switched and then got that bucket on the inbound play, but he was not perfect tonight and hasn't been that much. I thought he had a good first half, but second half really wasn't all that great until late when he hit those free throws and drew that foul. But the good thing from tonight, Notre Dame had 4 starters in double figures. Blake Wesley had 15 on an off night. Dane Goodwin had 13 tonight. He was okay, I thought. Hit that big shot to kind of keep him ahead, but I don't know that Dane Goodwin's a guy that can really create his own in the clutch, and you're going to need that out of somebody. Blake Wesley, Paul Atkinson are probably those guys ultimately, but without Atkinson on the floor, they kind of needed Dane late and didn't get all that much from him. That's my big issue with Dane right now. There's not much to be mad about with him, but if I could change one thing about his game, it'd be that he could take a guy off the bounce a little bit better and make a play. He's got better at that, just didn't really have it tonight. Prentiss Hubb, I didn't think was horrible. It was 4 for 11 points. I feel like he was a little more efficient and ran through the offense a little bit better than the stats show, but still 4 for 11 from your starting point guard is not ideal. And I think they would have been a little bit better suited with Trey or Cormac out there defensively. Trey, I don't think he played that many minutes. My stat sheet doesn't show minutes, but I thought he was okay. He had the 3 points, looked pretty confident actually, just didn't really take many shots. And it's kind of been the story of the year for Trey Wertz, just hasn't been able to take many shots. And tonight was a microcosm of that. He's okay. He'll be a good player at some point if he gets the opportunity to. Just didn't really have it tonight. Was kind of outshadowed by Notre Dame's other guards. Cormac Ryan, the big thing he did well tonight was defense. The big thing he did not do well tonight was hitting those free throws late. It's good that he drew a foul there, but you got to hit those free throws, and I'm sure he knows that. I'm sure he's harder on himself than I am with him right now, but got to hit those free throws. I don't know that it would have mattered that much anyway if Storm Murphy had hit that 3, but Cormac Ryan was okay tonight. I thought those free throws really hindered what I thought of him, though. So that's all I really have for individual players. It's a disappointing loss for sure. But ultimately in the metrics, this isn't a bad loss. Virginia Tech, I think, will really pick it up, and they already weren't a bad metrics team. They're already ranked about 20 spots over Notre Dame, even though they don't have a win in conference play. This would have been a huge win for Notre Dame, though, to kind of pick one off against a team that isn't really a quad one team in my eyes. To pick off a game against them as a quad one, I think would have been huge for them. But ultimately, it doesn't hurt them that much. I think this was kind of not a no-lose situation, but the upside of this game was a lot better than the downside. You just kind of think about what could have been. Notre Dame could have exited tonight with 3 quad ones, assuming UNC holds on against Georgia Tech, and then a few teams who were kind of on the bubble lose. Notre Dame could have left tonight with 3 quad ones and didn't. So missed opportunity for Notre Dame. I'm sure they know that. And we've seen this movie before. I'm sure that's the saying going around on Twitter. I haven't been on since the game ended, but there are some positives to take away from this, like Notre Dame's balance offensively. Everybody was kind of chipping in. Nate Laszewski was really kind of controlling things, even when he didn't have the ball in his hands. But they're going to need to finish a game like this. I think they're better equipped to do that than they were last year, just because of Paul Atkinson and Blake Wesley. Tonight is kind of the argument against the 7-man rotation, especially in this short of a week. I don't know how much it would have helped tonight, but certainly it couldn't have hurt. With the foul totals, maybe it could have hurt in other areas. But, man, this one is disappointing. And Howard's not going to fix it if they beat Howard. I'm assuming they will. Louisville will not – probably. I think Louisville won't be as good of a win in the metrics, but will certainly be a win that gives them confidence, and they're going to need that one on Wednesday. Notre Dame's 6-game winning streak is snapped, and not back to square one for Notre Dame. Still in a solid spot, but just kind of wonder what could have been if they had pulled this off. And they're gonna have to go get one on the road now to kind of make up for this if they want to make the tournament. There's a lot of games on their schedule now that are must wins. They're gonna have to win probably 12 or 13 games in the league, and I'm sure they'll have other quad one opportunities. Duke will be one, and then I'm assuming a couple other road ones will be. I don't quite know who would be. Clemson will probably be a quad one opportunity for them at Clemson. Let me take a peek at the schedule. Just kind of look at how they could boost their resume. At Louisville, I'm guessing would be a quad 2. I'll look into the numbers. At Miami could be a quad 1. At NC State could probably be a quad 1 by the time they play. At Wake could be a quad 1. At Clemson could probably be one as well. So they're going to have chances. At Florida State could probably be one. Some of those teams will definitely be in the top 25 or top 75 to get into quad 1. But ultimately, this is a disappointing one, like I said. Not one that is going to kill them come March, though. Just a big missed opportunity against a team that I don't think is all that great. I think they're going to be a lot better, but they're 0-4 in the league for a reason. And just disappointing. Good to see stuff from Paul Atkinson tonight. He's been quietly really good. And good to see from Notre Dame signees in their high school games today. Dom Campbell, I got to watch a little bit of, hoping to watch more. Was physical as can be. I'm still not super sold on him playing as a freshman. JJ Starling, though I am, and he was really good today. Shots weren't falling, but still made a positive impact on the game. But I'll get off my recruiting talk, and I'll let you guys go. I hope everybody has a good weekend, and I'll see you on Monday for Howard. And then, Louisville is Saturday, so not Wednesday, but see you on Monday and see you on Saturday. So thanks for watching, and I'll be back on Monday. Peace.